Hey everybody.
I'm Mo.
And I'm Katie, and this is
The Mo and Katie Show.
Always interesting.
Unscripted as usual. Listen, we had this thing set up. We've got a very fancy.
There's
a diagram.
There's a diagram.
There are about 16 different cables involved in this setup, and we replicated it because we had the drawing.
We did.
It didn't work. So anyway, we
But
had to troubleshoot again. Yes.
Yeah, then it worked. So, yes. So, can we just officially say happy fall? It's finally looking like fall outside. I'm excited.
Well, you were in flannel, so I guess that's kind of it. It's April, but no.
I'm a rebel. What can I say?
So
yeah. So we were, first of all, listeners, hi. Thanks for coming along on our journey of randomness. We appreciate that.
Woo woo.
So we wanted to chat a little bit today about a concept that we've been trying to apply to our business and honestly our lives. And I think it's something that we forget. And speaking specifically about the Mo and Katie duo, one of us is a little impatient and wants everything to take off and be running and smooth and successful last week, not just yesterday.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all.
So we were on a call and I said, I dropped this bit of whatever cooking knowledge. I said it's kind of like
from the woman who grew up without an oven. But anyway,
and grew up on SpaghettiOs. That it's better to have something cooked in a crock pot than it is in a microwave. So the kind of success and the kind of progress we all want in our lives or should want in our lives is that crock pot success.
There are some business people who are transactional, meaning they're just in it for that transaction. They're in it for that moment, if you will. But we are very relational. To us, relational is the opposite of transactional, and that we are very relational. In that, the relationships are that is what defines our business, like the quality of that. And then Katie dropped this. Again, I call them metaphorologies because I don't know what's a metaphor.
She skipped that English class that particular day.
Well, what is it? Is it a metaphor or an analogy?
One of them uses like I think it's metaphor. I think a metaphor, the definition of a metaphor is it uses like or as.
That's a simile.
We didn't bring similes into this.
I didn't have to. Anyway,
somebody out there knows this and they're shouting it at
if you know the difference between simile, metaphor, and analogy, we'd like to know it. Until then, we're just going to say metaphorology.
Simametaphorology.
Metaphorologies. Doesn't matter.
Progress in life should be more like a crock pot than a microwave if you want it to be sustainable. And it makes me think about anything that you do to try to make a change. Like if you're trying to lose weight or if you're trying to build muscle or learn a skill, you have to go at it one day at a time. And you actually want you want that progress to kind of happen slower because it becomes more like the foundation. It becomes more of it's more sustainable and there's progress if you look long term.
Well, and I think that's another thing too, is they talk about how long does it take to create a habit, like 21 seconds or something like that, or you have to 21 days. But a lot of that too though is because it's based on repetition, because it's based on doing that same thing repeatedly until it becomes part of that second nature thing. And so yes, while operating relationally is slower, in theory, it should be better. But yeah, so anyway, you drop that crock pot chili versus hot pocket in the microwave.
Drop the crock pot.
Yeah. Which
will break your crock pot, so please don't drop your
crock pot. Will it though?
Pot.
I think it's like the Pyrex dish. You can drop it from nope, that's a cat. It always lands on his feet. The crock pot probably will break.
Crock pots and cats.
Yeah. It'll land lid side up. No, but you said Crockpot chili versus a Hot Pocket in the microwave. At which point I said Hot Pocket because I love me the jingles.
Well, and I love me a Hot Pocket once in a while, but if I eat Hot Pockets every day, I'm a big fat lady. It's just not gonna.
But what you're saying though is you won't be a big fat lady overnight. It will take 21 days. Or 21 like Hot Pockets. No, but you also mentioned too that the caliber and the quality of the food. If we're going to keep talking about this metaphor analogy simile with the Crockpot chili and the Hot Pocket, and
somehow we always end up on food.
Yeah, shocker. But if somebody always ends up with food on them, so that's not me.
Hey,
hey, I see your lunch.
No, you don't.
Anyway, speaking of fall, look what fell out of Katie's mouth. No, I think that too. When you talk about quality. And again, I don't mean to bash Candace Payne, but she was the lady who had the Chewbacca mask. It wasn't like she had invested time being a Chewbacca aficionado and mastering this. She had this really funny video that went viral in the moment because it was funny and it made us laugh and it made her laugh. But to me, that's more of the Hot Pocket in the microwave because it's not a sustainable thing. It's hot on the outside. And it's a little bit frozen and chunky and undone in the middle. And when you're having a chicken Hot Pocket, that's not good.
Frozen, chunky, and undone.
In the middle.
So another thing that made me think of, we were staying at the Lincoln Hotel in downtown Chicago. So there was a farmer's market and we could see it from the window of our hotel. So we went down and started walking around. You bought a tomato or something?
I bought this beautiful purple tomato.
Beautiful purple tomato.
That's cool.
That's right. That's our next band name, Beautiful Purple Tomato. Anyway, we came up
That's what's going to get thrown at you pretty quickly.
Splat. We came up to this booth, and I had never seen this before, but Mo knew what it is. It's called Raclette. Anybody out there know what raclette is? Oh my gosh. It is cheese and bread, basically, but not just cheese and bread. And this is where I'm going. This is where I'm going with this. Wake up, I'm there. You can take
wake up, I'm there. Is like, nope.
Oh my gosh. You can take a pack of club crackers and some Cheese Whiz, and that's going to be, it's going to be tasty, whatever. But it has no, it's not like real high quality food. All due respect to Cheese Whiz and club crackers.
Let's just talk about when you put cheese in a can. Or it's not a can. What is a can? Yeah, with that
it's
little
a pressurized can.
You know what the worst part about that is?
What?
I don't know the solution to this, but whoever's going to come up with this is going to also solve world peace. But when you use Cheese Whiz and you use that little serrated
lever
nozzle at the top, what happens? You put it away.
Oh.
You put it away, and then there's that hard, crusty little bit. It's like the mustard bottle. There's probably a name for it. I'm going to find out what it is. But there's probably a name for that hard, crusty cheese at the top of Cheese Whiz.
Do you remember Sniglets? Do you remember what a sniglet is?
That's the thing at the end of your shoelace.
No, that's something else.
Eyelet.
A sniglet.
Aglet.
A sniglet is something that was invented on this HBO show in the 80s it was called not necessarily the news, but it was this whole thing where you make up words for things that don't have words. So we'll make up a word for the Cheese Whiz. It could be like...
No, I'm saying there probably already is a word.
Oh, well.
Because this is this is a third world problem, second world problem. There are people all around the world with the sniglet eyelet of cheese on their Cheese Whiz.
Cue the Sarah McLachlan music.
Anyway, I feel like you've gotten off track. Where were we?
Shocker.
In the park.
We're in the park in Chicago. So raclette is this big, half wedge of cheese. And it is on some sort of a stand or something. And then there is this heat source that just sits and just very slowly melts the cheese. And then what they do is every once in a while they turn it and they scrape it onto bread and you give them money and they give you cheese, which I just think it makes America great. I'm just saying. So it was amazing because it was high quality cheese and the process of melting it slowly was part of what made it taste good. It was 8 o'clock. It was 8 o'clock in the morning.
On what day of the week?
You know what?
Here comes a purple tomato. Yeah. So
I mean, 8:00 in the morning, and we are standing in a park in Chicago eating bread and cheese, and we were so happy.
Fat, dumb, and getting fatter. Because we were, but yeah, because, and again, it was this, and you are really good at this, Katie. She goes, you said, can we just stop and take a moment? And
yeah, you kind of sound like me. That's kind of crazy.
I know. Don't make me mom voice you. I've heard that too. It's not fun. But you're like, we just stop for a moment and look? We're eating cheese and then you looked at your watch and all the cheese fell off your bread, which is fine. Some bird got it.
Caught it.
But yeah, but you're like, we're in Chicago,
yeah.
and we're eating cheese on bread in a farmer's market. It was right across the street from our hotel.
It was really a lovely moment. I mean, clearly we remember it now. But anyway, it makes me think of the microwave versus crockpot, because that nice slow cooking and the quality of, I mean, there could have been a booth next door where they were like, here's your Cheese Whiz on your club cracker, and people would have paid for that.
Someone's going to get stuck with the sniglet, right? So the very first person who gets the cream, the whipped cream, what do you call it?
The thing itself is not called a sniglet. A sniglet is the grouping of words. A word that you make up to describe something is a sniglet.
Do you know what the cheese, the crunchy cheese, and the right?
So you're calling it a sniglet.
That's
right.
A
sniglet is already. Never mind. This is not.
Anyway, you're not going to win.
Cheese in the park. Good stuff.
So anyway, you talk about quality of, again, we're relating this to so just to catch everybody up, the Cheese Whiz with the sniglet from the previous round of cheese, that is the hot pocket in the microwave.
Yes.
Quality, just fast, convenient. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it is when you can
full
have
of unnatural ingredients.
Yes, there's nothing natural about something that has a shelf life of 1,000 years. But versus the crockpot, the chili in the crockpot, or the raclette and the slowly melted cheese. Ironically, Velveeta.
No, it's not. Big flock of Velveeta. But even so here's the thing. It wasn't just standing in the park eating cheese, though that was amazing. It was the process of watching them do it.
Yeah, that's true.
The process of watching them with these big heating elements and these huge wedges of cheese. And you're like, I get to be a part of that wedge of cheese.
Actually, no, the part of cheese is going to become part of you. I think that's.
And they're scraping. So there is a slow process to it. But it's like a show.
It's like artistry.
It's a cheese show, if you really want to know what it is.
I give you a cheese show with a sniglet when I pull the sniglet out of that little nozzle.
So it was just the experience of being in Chicago with my best friend in a park at 8 a.m. eating this cheese that we just watched the dude scrape. It was amazing. So.
Well, but and you've heard me use this analogy before. Is again going back to the crackers and the sniglet free canned cheese. Like, those are calories, and it is convenient. And if that's something you need, maybe that's how you host dinner parties. We're not here to judge. We're going to talk about you, but we're not here to judge. A little bit.
I've eaten Cheese Whiz many a time, so.
At a fancy cocktail dinner, like she had
pulled it out of my purse.
Thank you for saying purse. Speaking of sniglets, pulling out sniglets. Well, you know what a dingleberry is,
yes!
Right? Not cheese, just to be clear.
You know that little button on YouTube that's like, fast forward 10 seconds? Let's just do that over whatever's getting ready.
Why did you use the word button when I said dingleberry? Is it because it has the word butt on it? I love winning. Listen, so while you can go to the parties with, I don't know what kind of people you're hanging out with where you're having Cheese Whiz from your purse and crackers, probably stolen from a restaurant where they had like oyster crackers, oyster cracker powder. Like, that is an option. Not a good one, but it's an option.
It is an option.
In a fix, well, you've had kids, so maybe that's something you do when you have kids. You're like, here, honey, shut up, open your mouth. I mean, one of you is getting the sniglet, probably the least favorite.
You do that with your dogs and whipped cream, so.
I know, but there's no sniglet in the whipped cream.
That's
and it's also
true.
There's no time for the whipped cream to form into a sniglet because we're giving them damn whipped cream every other minute. I digress. So while crackers with sniglet-free canned cheese is an option, it is empty calories and there's a lower quality than, again, raclette. Mm-hmm. Just like a hot pocket in the microwave is less quality, still convenient, mm-hmm. and quicker than crockpot chili. Mm-hmm. What I like in this too is when you are hungry, you can go just grab something, maybe ramen noodles, just chewing them raw. I know people who've done that. It's me. And then you have the little seasoned packet chasers. Like, I don't have time for that. Again, we're talking about
on the rim of the glass, the seasoning packet.
You're using some really dangerous words. So you can do that, and you can satisfy, get that caloric, it's empty. But on the other end of that spectrum is going to a hibachi teppanyaki restaurant, right?
I love hibachi.
Right. So when you go to that, again, it is the show. It is the artistry of food, and it is a communal effort because you're there with everybody else in the park. You're there with all the flavors in the crock pot simmering.
Yeah.
Like, and I think about that all the time is, I'm hungry. I can go chew some gum and get some empty calories in me. I can make something. I can order from DoorDash, or you can go out to eat. I mean, there's all these different levels, but the teppanyaki, the hibachi is the ultimate because it is communal. You're sharing that experience with other people, whether it's people you know or
you're eating
strangers.
off other people's plates. Oh, wait, you're not supposed to.
You are.
Can I have a scallop?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Can I put that scallop in my purse next to my sniglet? But again, it's that full range, and I think a lot of times we crave the chili crockpot experience with the rituals of a hot pocket in the microwave. So you can't put a hot pocket in the microwave and expect to get crockpot chili out of it unless you have a magic microwave. And then in that case, I want to talk to you about removing sniglets from the plastic nozzle of canned cheese. But,
so yeah, you're right, and I love hibachi because of the way it's just rolled out so slowly. It's like you get the soup and you get the salad with that really good ginger dressing.
Oh yeah,
you had that at your house.
We drink it regularly.
So good. And then there's the whole, like, he brings it out and taps and does the rice, and you get some rice, and you try not to eat all the rice before the everything else is good. You catch the shrimp. Do you catch the shrimp in your mouth?
No, I let it fall into my bangs.
Always miss. Your bangs?
Well, sports ball. I bring a mitt.
And what I try.
Katie's just there for the yum yum sauce. You want to find something in her purse? It's yum yum sauce.
Can we talk about yum yum sauce for just a moment?
I feel like you're going to anyway.
Oh my gosh, I love yum yum sauce. I'm sure it's like just sugar and mayonnaise or something, but oh my gosh.
What? You think yum yum sauce is
It's sweet and it looks like mayonnaise.
We're going to change our category of podcast to cooking show because obviously we've talked about sniglets, canned cheese, raclette, mayonnaise and sugar.
I love yum yum sauce.
Mayonnaise and sugar. I don't think that's what it is.
Mayonnaise and sugar is something. Oh, I know. When my mom makes Waldorf salad, she uses mayonnaise and sugar. So my mom makes this thing called Waldorf salad, and it's like grapes and apples and walnuts. I can't have it. And mini marshmallows. And then you put mayonnaise and sugar and you mix it all together. And it's like this sweet fruit salad thing. It's called Waldorf salad. Anyway. Yeah, I guess yum yum sauce doesn't taste like that. Anyway, I love yum yum sauce.
There's a lot fewer grapes and marshmallows than yum yum sauce. At least at the teppanyaki places I go to. I'm not sure what everybody does their hibachi.
And that's like, too, it makes me think.
Oh, good Lord. Welcome to our 15th tangent today.
Think of the bologna and cream cheese like layered thing. Have you had that before?
I'm not from Ohio. I'm not sure I understand.
All right, I'm done. Never mind.
I think it's good that you are. Anyway. Okay.
Are there any analogies for this crockpot microwave thing that do not involve food?
No. Well, I'm sure there are. I'm not going to sit here and just hit record and try to come up with one.
What it makes me think of, though.
If you say bologna, mayonnaise, sugar, or mini marshmallows, we are done.
No, it makes me think of vocal training, which is what I do all the time. Because with vocal training, you do not come in like for one lesson and usually see a drastic change from even like one lesson to the next, like over weeks. So I always tell my students this: you see progress over months and years versus days and weeks, which is why you've got to stick with it, because you're making incremental change to your habits. And I try to be really good with a lot of my students about stopping them and saying, okay, hold on, you just did something, and I just want to point out that 6 months ago you couldn't do that. but because you know, and I always tell my students, I use this thing. I said, okay, if I wanted to do the splits,
Hey, hang on. Everybody just hit pause for a second.
I'm going somewhere with this. If I wanted to do the splits,
not far,
and someone gave me, say, okay, these are the exercises you need to stretch to do the splits. I always ask my students, I say, would I be able to do the splits tomorrow? And they're like, no. And I'm like, what about next week? They're like, no. I'm like, how about in
10 years from now?
Yeah,
no.
Right. No, my leg would fall off. But like that speaks their language. They're like, yes, over time, you're going to strengthen your muscles. And so we strengthen muscles with our body, with our minds, with everything. So we're building that foundation. So that's kind of my real world application is I have to remind people, stick with it, make the little changes. Yeah. It's like watching a kid grow. You don't just sit there and watch a kid. No, actually, I think I've done that.
It's like watching paint dry or watching a kid dry or paint grow. But speaking of splits, you'd asked earlier, is there a way to have these analogies without using food? And the answer is no, because as soon as you said split, we're all thinking ice cream, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, whatever metaphor analogy you use, it is about the long game. And I think a lot of times, and again, I'm not impatient. I'm just not patient. And I think there's a difference. Actually, no, I'm not impatient. I'm just not. I do want it yesterday. But I think when you get reminded of those things, and even in my own business from speaking, I look back and I look at how I felt when I tried to get a gig. Like you're just kind of like, well, if you don't mind, I'd like to, if maybe I could have like a little bit of time on the stage, and if I could, just kind of give these points up. But now you're just like, I have a message I want to, like, because I have worked on it, because I have pulled the sniglet out of the raclette and stuck it in the purple tomato. You're welcome. No, but I think if we were to take it, anything in our lives that we do on a regular basis and look backwards, and again, I think we don't value the rearview mirrors quite enough. But if you look back there, or if you just take a notice of how often you look at rearview mirrors, but if you take a look backwards and see where you've came, I think there's value in that. Because it is a long game. Unless any of you can do the splits, that you couldn't do it yesterday, but you could today. This show's not for you. This is a cooking show.
The splits. I always wanted to be a cheerleader, and I couldn't do the splits. I'm not very flexible.
Was that why you couldn't be a cheerleader?
Yeah, pretty much. I also can't do a cartwheel.
Are you practicing to do the splits? Well, if you want to do the splits, then why aren't you practicing?
It was just an analogy for
It's an analogy for formaldehyde. It's an analogy that lasts forever on the shelf in a jar like a brain.
So we would love to hear some of the examples in your life of how you've noticed that slow and steady wins the race instead of just being that flash in the pan. And maybe
cooking.
It's there we go. Back. Maybe it's your career. Maybe it's something with a relationship where you've just invested over time. And that's another thing too. You look at some people you meet, it's just a fast, and it's not going to be a lasting thing. But other people,
those are called one night stands.
Not what I was talking about.
I know,
but other people,
it's what I was talking about.
You invest in them, and you get to know each other over time, and you make each other laugh, you make each other mad, you do all these things over time and build this relationship. And I know, like, even you and I've been talking now, we just hit like 6 years that we've known each other.
And honestly, it has felt like 12. You know what I mean? It's gone twice as fast. Math.
Anyway, the math ain't mapping.
Yeah. But I think the other thing to think about too is not just the skills that we have today and looking backwards, but what skills do we want? Again, and I was being serious about that. If you want to do the splits, it's looking forward to about what you want, and it's looking at all those baby steps, and it's also realizing that the steps aren't linear. That was another thing we talked about success not being linear, and that's frustrating as hell because listen, I need a checklist. I need to know the next. If I do this, then this. Well, if you do that, it's not guaranteed, but all those things are working together toward a common goal.
I really admire the fact that you can play the guitar. I love that you play the guitar. I think it's really a cool skill to have. I try to live my life with no regrets, but I always say this is my one regret. I took guitar lessons for like 3 years. I would not play enough to get the calluses on my fingers to where it wouldn't hurt. And therefore, today, I can't play the guitar. and I wish that I could. So I wish I
You
had
could
the.
still start now.
That's true. That's true. I have a little guitar back there. I wish that I had the wherewithal and the insight to see ahead to say, no, this is going to be worth it someday. Practice enough to where it doesn't hurt anymore, and then you're going to be able to get over that hump. And I just never did. So,
Still can.
so that's my
First
one.
time, the first time I got my guitar and I played. What's that Bryan Adams song? My fingers were literally bleeding.
Oh, played
yeah,
Chili Fingers.
I did.
Summer
I did.
'69.
It wasn't
actually
that.
You weren't alive in summer '69, so that'd be weird.
Yeah,
but yeah. So getting that, I just remember I just was not willing. Number one, to keep my nails that short, because I'm a girl, and two,
I'm a girl. I can keep my nails that short.
And just I remember like. I don't want to practice because it hurts, but like you have to realize you've got to get over that. And I see people who are really phenomenal guitar players, and I wish I had stuck with that. So,
yeah. But don't shake their hands because their fingers are all calloused. But,
so
yeah, no, those. I mean, I know we joke a lot, a lot, but we also have this serious side, and I think that you and I both think in terms of semi-metaphonologies and like looking at those things, because then it makes you look at things differently.
Yeah.
When I look at a crockpot, I think about the relational aspect of that. When I look at the microwave, I think about the convenience and the kind of the one-hit wonders of that. You know, so I don't know. It's important to me because I need reminders of that, because I am cooking in a crockpot and I want my hot pocket now. Damn it. And I wanted a high quality hot pocket, and I may douse it with a little sniglets of.
You're gonna put Tabasco on. It's what you're gonna do.
Yeah, I will. Hot pocket. So anyway,
yeah. So what in your life? What skill? What relationship? What discipline has like built the foundation of who you are? Because that stuff really does make up who we are and what we do. And I think we can all learn that from each other too. Mm-hmm. I think we can learn skills that we admire in each other. You know, I see a lot of people who are good at something I wish I was good at, or patient in a way I wish I was patient, or something.
I know. But you can't just take.
We can't all be Mo Barrett. No. So yeah. So share with us, and the next time you see the big wedge of cheese in the park,
go for it.
Get your bread out, because it is good stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that's all we got.
That's all we got today.
From the monumental to the mundane.
Life is full of unforgettable experiences.
Yeah, like cheese in the park.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.